Hey, this is Sencrad from the 2, and we are going to be going over the very last video in this walkthrough. Moment of silence. We will be going over the endgame bosses. There are, maybe 4. I would count 3. I will only be showing you the best case scenarios. You want to fight a lesser way? Fine. Go for it. I will not be showing you how to do that because if you want to make your life more miserable, why do I care? I do care. No, I really do. I do care. Deep down. Okay, so what you do is you go and talk at the first guarded. You're going to end up here, which is only in the Enhanced Edition, which is basically just a stupid, elongated CGI wannabe that makes no sense. So yeah, go here in all of these, just say, it's my fault. Just say, oh, it was my fault. It was me. It was all me. I was the deserter. Here you say, I was the deserter.
Tell me true.
I'm the deserter. Yeah. Alright. And really lame, you can't skip this.
Next.
Okay, Kim Crab in, or the whatever it is backwards. You can go over here. You can burn down this door. Check out these guys in the room. Get them busy. And then you can go down. You're gonna go down into the basement. In the basement, you're gonna hit this book. Get the key. You're gonna leave this area. You're gonna go upstairs. Open this door. Go in this cupboard thing. Talk to all these idiots. You can dig up a little thing here and get a helmet, which, you know, sometimes if you're not paying attention or doing anything throughout the game, this helmet might actually be better. The bucket of whatever it is, inspiration, perception.
Anguish. I am here.
I don't know how to open this area up other than just by talking to all these people.
Role reversal and poetic justice tend to go hand in hand.
So I talk to them all, and then go in here, talk to them all.
Makes my eyes water and my throat burn.
She is mine, and mine alone. I won't let the nasties hurt you, my darling. Away, away. The sea awaits, full of sweethearts.
Yeah, I don't really know. And then he opens the door. I really don't know the purpose of this. But anyway, you're going to come down here. I'm only going to show this in the first video because this is like horrendously boring for me. You touch any of that crap, it'll just blow up in your face and start a fire. You go down here. Now, if you listen to these people, they want you to set a star day on fire. Some people, you know, I guess don't pay attention. So they don't know what to do here.
An eternal vigil.
But all majority
Burner. Get the key in the ash, and you're gonna go up here, and we're gonna have the very first fight. First of 3 real bosses, 1 kind of half boss.
Look here, if you...
Alright, so I'm going to show you a couple different ways to fight these fights. First way I'm going to show you is, in this fight, is just pure damage. This is, in my opinion, the most effective way to take down the Trife. Why? With leadership and these abilities, you'll see your first 3 people will get to go first because of the initiative boost on leadership. What you're going to do is you're going to do the combos that I talk about. You're going to go with melee or range power stance. You're going to go with your silver arrow. You're then going to, you know, I could have oathed myself first, I suppose. You're then going to do this arrow spray in his face. I guess I didn't have enough AP. I didn't want to waste anything. You could also do adrenaline. I'm not even going to do that. So I know I can only have 2 AP to spend on movement, so I do the 2 AP to move so that I can still do the arrow spray. You design the arrow spray like this, and that's what will happen to the Trife. You can actually drop him in 1 turn. I'll show you my other combo here. Melee power stance. Rage. Battering ram to put yourself into a backstab position. And then I will do daggers drawn. Now, I want to show you this here, this damage output. This is the damage output that I'm talking about here. This is not, you know, well, if you factor in a 30% critical hit chance on a two-handed blah, blah, blah. This is 100%. You will deal this damage 100% of the time. Why? Because if you have backstab critical will kick in every single time. As you see here, backstab critical 1,000, backstab critical 1,000, backstab critical 1,000, backstab critical 1,000. You're talking about dealing 4,000 damage in a skill that does not even require you to be a master level skill. This is a adept level skill that will deal 100% damage every single time. So, as I've said before, this is far more steady damage output. You're going to deal very constant damage output with this skill the whole game. Flurry, very sporadic. You could have 300, 300, 300, 300, you know, or 300 miss, 300 with Flurry. But you could also have, as I'll show you in this video, you'll have Flurry deal 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. You know, I mean, you're very, 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 very lucky if you can get 1,500 on all 4. But at that point in time, you know, what are you talking about? 1,500 on every single one is what? 6,000? So you're talking about a 4,000 difference 100% of the time versus a 6,000 damage. And do the math on that. You'd have to do whatever your critical chance is. 30% is average. 30% times by 30%, 1 over 3 times 1 over 3 times 1 over 3 times 1 over 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is almost 1 over 90. So you're talking about a 1 over 90 chance for you to actually hit critical with Medora. Which, if you know anything about math, that is not substantial. That is not something you want to put all your eggs in all the time. This will deal 4,000 damage 100% of the time. It's far more effective. It's a far more effective build as far as damage output than a two-handed fighter. I'm sorry if that offends you. Not to mention the fact, and I just say forget the loot. And as soon as you kill the Trife, everyone else dies. So only focus on the Trife.
He is dead.
Only focus on the Trife. Hello, kitty. Can you get down? Jumping in my face. So only focus on the Trife.
Because of the number before she
Not to mention the fact, I didn't finish that. Not to mention the fact that Flurry is a master level skill, so to even get Medora to be able to deal that kind of damage, you have to put 4 extra points into Man-at-Arms to even get that to happen. So there is a reason. It's math. There is a reason why this build is a far superior build on the whole.
How long it's
So here's what we're gonna do.
It's true.
This is the best way to fight this fight. You don't want to fight it this way? That's fine. That's fine. You don't want to fight it this way? Fight it your way. But this is what you do. Get to the part where it says end in the conversation. And then you're going to do this. Hail attack on her. And end the conversation. Now, what's this gonna do? This is gonna start the fight with her frozen. She's not gonna cast invulnerability on herself, and she's not gonna summon 4 demons. Now you say, well, that's cheating. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'll tell you the reason why this is different than cheating, okay? Are you telling me that it makes sense to you that this girl can have a back-and-forth conversation with only 2 of your people? See, Medora and Jahan, they can walk around. She's only having a conversation with those 2. But yet, decide, I'm going to start the fight. And you know how she starts the fight? By immediately casting 4 summons, 4, so 4 turns worth of action, 4 summons, and then casts invulnerability on herself. I call horse crap on that. Horse crap. If you want to let her do that, well then, you know what? You are no better than the Incredibles movie. Watch the Incredibles movie. You're going to let the bad guy do a monologue and then get a go first and then smack down. Fine. Fine. But you know what? You're just being stupid. It has not anything to do with cheating. This is exactly what would happen in real life if somebody wanted to go on this monologue for, 10 minutes. Why should they get to go first in combat? Well, they should get to go first in combat if you're a retard, and we're not. Trigger warning, I said retard. But that's, I'm using it in a scientifically correct context there, so. Send your letters elsewhere. And that's it. So this is it. This battle's over because she is now literally one other shot. You can literally silver arrow if you feel like it because I'm being a dink. But Splinter's shot will end her here, which I just do. That's enough damage to end her for sure. The first turn, she's done. That's it.
This is the most. I don't know.
If Ikara...
As a couple.
So that's the most effective way to fight her, and the way you should. I suggest a very similar best case scenario for fighting multiple other bosses, including the twins, including Pontius Pirate. There are some people in the game, bosses that, such as the Void Dragon, which is coming up, which does not sit there and monologue you.
There must be a way to remove
so. Arian knew what they were doing when they created a monologuing boss. So here's the fourth, the 4th mini boss, I guess you could say. There's a bunch of Death Knights. No, I'm not gonna go over this in 2 videos because this is just a really stupid fight, and I'll show you why. You remove Death Knight. And this is funny, I use adrenaline, 100% chance to get it to work, or whatever it was. Was that 100%? Now I have to look. What percent chance? 150% chance to immediately gain an extra 50%, so 150% chance. And look what happens. It fails. Glitch! But anyway, unnecessary, you don't have to do this. Pass the wand on to the next person, which is Jahan. And Jahan equips it. Or whoever it is. And guess what? He can knock down another 2. Pass the wand to White. He can finish off the last 2. And that's the end of it. Put your weapons back on your people. Come down here. So I'm only going to show that fight on this video. I'll jump to the next video after this. So this is best case scenario. This is the best and easiest way to blow through these 3 bosses. Okay, so what you're going to do down here is you're going to want to stand on the back side of the chest. You're not going to want to stand on the front side of the chest. You're going to want to stand on the back side of the chest. So that would be over here. You're then going to want to click the God box. Void Dragon appears. Now, you can choose to Soul Sap them and use a bunch of, and all your guys are immune to fear, so none of this will affect you. subbing people. Normally it doesn't really matter, because you should be able to end this guy in the first turn. I'm showing you best case scenario. This guy has massive now, as per the update, massive magical resistance, but his armor is shoddy. And so you do a silver arrow on him, and you want to do mostly physical damage on him. So, silver arrow will make them take even more damage. So if you did a 2-ranger build, the Void Dragon literally would be dead with just those 2 abilities. Now we're gonna waste some time as they cast spells on me, which, you know, don't matter. Now, if this was white that went here instead of Dahan, this battering ram daggers drawn combo would actually end the Void Dragon. As you saw, backstab critical 100% across the board. I could do adrenaline right here, and end the Void Dragon. But I want to show you how White's is slightly more powerful here, and end up stunning myself on the Void Dragon.
Ramming speed!
Which is, you know, awesome. That's it. And you know what? We're going to skip ahead a little bit here, because this is worthless, because Astarte casts a lot of spells. A lot of spells like heal and haste. So Medora gets to go here. As you can see, the Void Dragon should already be dead. But we're going to rage. We're going to melee power stance. Why? Because so I can move 2. There we go. We're going to move 2. And we're going to end him. And you know, I hit a couple crits here, so you should see this. I hit actually 3 crits. Now, the chance of that occurring, I've already told you, is very, very low. But 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. Okay? So you're talking about 3,000. Jeez Louise, that is a ton of damage. Ton of damage. So one target. And that's it. I'll show you it once again here. See if we can skip ahead a little bit. Without making the video god too angry. Apparently I did. Probably I made the video god too angry. It likes it when I do little skips. You do big skips and it gets mad. Just going to show you taking down the Trife again. This time, though, I'm only going to use spells. I'll show you how it's less effective on these last bosses, but you can fight these guys other ways. took half his life and froze him. So
May I be valiant as the Lion of Summer.
and I could do other stuff like, you know, adrenaline, ram him, you know. I'm just being a dork here. I'm actually having to waste times to show you the 3 hailstorm attacks here. But there he goes. Now we're gonna end these 2 fights exactly the same way. We're gonna throw down the hailstorm because that is just the easiest way to do it. And then we're gonna pass the wand around here because that's the easiest way to take care of these guys. But down here, I wanted to show you, in the last of this video, I want to show you how ineffective Hailstorm is against the dragon. It used to be, you used to be able to, I like this, I almost get killed here on turn 1 on the summit. So, that was interesting. Apparently I was standing too close to something, that guy, and he fried me while he was being summoned, so. I'll show you how little damage this does now. Okay.
Time to burn the candle at both ends.
See? It barely does any damage. See that? So your rain of arrows, your rain of arrows and your hail attack, which are phenomenal from levels 15 to 22. They basically, and a couple of these fights, as you've seen with Leandra, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal ability. It becomes absolutely worthless against the Void Dragon. Now, as I've said, or as other people say in the forums, you can soul sap the dragon, you can try to lower his resistances, but why? Why? As I've shown you in the other video, the Void Dragon, more so than anybody in the game, even more so than Brachus Rex or the hardest bosses in the game that you can think of, the Void Dragon takes more damage physically than any of them. Medora's two-handed flurry, your two-handed warrior, or your dueling fighters, daggers drawn, will deal so much more damage than everything else that there's absolutely no point in doing this. There's no point in wasting time. Now, you know, both these people will go. Now, as you'll see with Jahan, I'll do the same thing just to show you. Without Soul Sap, the Void Dragon will withstand 3 hail attacks. It'll take only half of his life. And those are 3 master level skills. 3 master level skills. Okay, it's horse crap. So we're going to skip ahead because she's going to go. She casts a bunch of healing spells. Will heal people. And this guy will go. So here's Medora. We're going to ending it here, and I show you at the end of the video the same thing. Now, if you see this, the Void Dragon has about half life, okay? About half life. I can move 1 AP towards him. Here we go. Now look at this. Now at this point in time, I hit 3 criticals again. Now, I got really lucky and I didn't want to keep going back in here. This probably won't happen. The criticals weren't as high, right? This was 1,000, 1,200, 1,500. So this one was substantially less than the previous one. This one was, 1,500, 3,000, 4,500. So this one hit 4,500 damage for a master level skill. He will hit over 4,000 100% of the time with an adept level skill. But as you can see, more than half of his life down for the count. Okay. So in summary, these bosses at the end, the very first one, the Trife. Much more effective to take him out with physical attacks. Why? Because it's a very tight space. You use hail attack, you could freeze yourself, as I showed you in this video. And he just takes he's a pushover, and so you can absolutely destroy him physically, as I showed you in the other video. The arrow spray can literally drop him in a single turn. In that video, it took more than 75% of his health. The second fight you want to end with a hail attack. That will end that fight, which is actually, in my opinion, the hardest of the 4 fights. So it is the hardest of the 4 fights. So if you actually let her cast immunity on herself, summon, 4 crystals or 3 crystals that protect her, or however many crystals she does, plus 4 immune to damage demons. If you let her do that, then you are actually allowing her to create the most difficult fight of these 4 fights. So hail attacker, as I've shown, that's the easiest way to take her down. The third fight with those Death Knights is the easiest of the 4 fights, potentially, because all you have to do is use the wand and pass it around between you people and whack them. The very last one, the Void Dragon, clearly takes more damage from physical. So you can, if you want to be a dink, you can cast Soul Sap on the dragon, try to lower, maybe even lower resistances, and then try to cast spells on it. But why? There's absolutely no point. You have 3 people in your party that have daggers drawn, two that have daggers drawn, 1 that has flurry, and one that has arrow spray. So it's not like one of them doesn't have something. All 4 of them have an ability that can drop the Void Dragon. Arrow spray, probably the most effective, followed by daggers drawn and flurry. And you will be able to drop the Void Dragon in a single turn without even, as I showed you, without even using Adrenaline. Adrenaline would just make it go even quicker. So these fights are not... I wouldn't even put these last 4 fights in the top 10 hardest fights of the game. So if you're having trouble with these fights, I hope you watch this video. I hope you do my guide. And I hope you change your ways. Change your ways, because these last 4 fights should be the apex of your fighting to show your dominance as a source hunter, as you absolutely obliterate the Trife and the Void Dragon. And that will end it for Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition walkthrough videos. I'm glad that you stayed with me throughout the whole time. I hope that these were informative and a little bit quirky. Hopefully a little bit entertaining at the same time. As always, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them, and I will get back to you.